Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. Today I wanted to go through, and I will do a collection video on all of my TwoSuns, TwoSun Knives, but I wanted to talk about my top 5 current TwoSun Knives in my collection. And the way I figured I would do this is just kind of go through them, talk about them, how they make me feel, why they're my favorite knives in my TwoSun collection, and hopefully give you some information to see if it might be something you want to add to your collection. So the first one here is the TS301. It is a thumb stud deployment, super cool blade. Micarta handles with G10 on titanium liners with a bolster lock and amazing action. And I know you guys are probably thinking D2, ugh, I get it. But what you've got to realize is this knife, with the exception of the blade steel, which is very, very sharp, very slicey, is a high-end knife that costs under $100. This knife, I want to say, was $99 at White Mountain Knives, and when I put the lefty code into it, it brought it down to $82, $83. And guys, this knife has fantastic detent. It carries like a much bigger knife. It's got a very rounded, ergonomical handle. It's got a nice poon there to give you some grip and traction on that blade. And I think it's just from the action, the fit and finish, the way this knife goes together, the attention to detail between the carbon fiber transitions to the micarta transitions. It's just titanium pocket clip, just really well done. And I've kind of always been a TwoSun fan and have enjoyed some of the knives. And I've got some knives that are ghosts, not ghosts, that are, kind of crappy knives that I still have in my collection, and we'll go through those. But again, you just never know. TwoSun offers a lot of SKUs or models, and you can probably over 1,000 of them, who knows. But what I want to do is hopefully point out the ones that, out of all of the TwoSuns that I've bought and brought into the collection, the ones that bring me the most joy, that I find the most love in. And again, start off with our TS301 here in D2 for under $100. From there, we go to one of my earlier TwoSuns that is not my normal jam in terms of styling, but the action on this knife is second to none. It is a Tanto, kind of a Americanized Tanto with a little bit of a gradual swedge there, or gradual tip, compound grind, high flat. The action on this, it is a inset frame lock. And I'm doing this horizontally, guys. The action on this knife is really just needs to be experienced because it is so hydraulic. It's a front flipper, M390 blade steel, carbon fiber and titanium. This knife was a little bit more, but I want to say it was somewhere in the $140, $150 range, which for the materials, the fit and finish, what you're getting, I think it's more than a fantastic value. And that is the TwoSun TS341, one of the few that I've seen with the name called the Sidewinder, and I can highly recommend this knife. If you're looking for kind of a unique Tanto with amazing action in a well-built specimen, the Sidewinder is the way to go. After that, one of my favorites is designed from our friend Colin Mason-Pierre, the brains behind Devo Knives, or the design prowess behind Devo Knives with Lefty. I'm kidding. They're both equally responsible for the success of that brand, but this knife is awesome. It is the TS319, CM Blade Works, Colin Mason-Pierre. 14C28N on this blade steel. It's a smaller knife, but just like all of Collins' knives, the action, the ergonomics. This is a liner lock, inset liner, and it just titanium, 14C28N steel, carbon fiber for a knife that I want to say comes in right around $119, and they also make it in micarta. You can get it with micarta insets, or you can get it with the titanium or the carbon fiber insets. I don't know if you can see the milling around the pivot here, but this knife has some very, very nice, I don't know if you can see that around the pivot, but it's milled out around there to give you a little bit more dramatic look and just showing you more what TwoSun can do with their machining and with what they're able to put out. And I think this is a fantastic knife. I could recommend it to anybody if you can find it in stock. Amazon, White Mountain Knives, any of the TwoSun dealers that you might have, or reach out to Justin at OCD for EDC. He might be able to pull some of these knives in for you guys. He's a TwoSun dealer. But the TS319, designed by our friend Colin Mason Pierre, is a fantastic knife and one of my top TwoSuns. From there, we go to one of my top two. This is the TS270. I did not plan to get this in a Mayhem anode finish, but that's just the way it showed up at White Mountain Knives. I would almost rather have it in just raw titanium. Guys, this knife has amazing action. It has always been one of my favorites. It's a frame lock, M390 blade steel. It is a full-size knife. It's got a super unique sheep's footy type blade. It's got this deployment hole, which has also some fullerized areas, which give you just some fantastic purchase to get that blade to deploy. It is a flipper or thumb hole deployment knife only. It looks like you can front flip it, but you can't. But the thumb hole deployment is just to die for. And when the Mayhem finish came in, it's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but they do a good job with it. I mean, it is, again, M390. It is titanium. You can't really see it because of the Mayhem finish, but on these low areas here where it's chamfered out, you've got some light milling in the titanium to give you a little grip and a little texture. Fantastic pocket clips on all these knives, guys. When we go through the full TwoSun collection, a couple of the fails are in the pocket clip design, but these guys are all what I would say to die for. So any of these knives I would highly recommend, put my name behind, and the TS270 is definitely one of those if you're looking for a larger knife. Really good value. I want to say this one was probably around $160, $170 before the discount, and it's just an enjoyable knife. I kid it quite a bit. Which brings me to my favorite current TwoSun, and probably the most unconventional TwoSun that I've come across, and that is the TwoSun TS346. Guys, this is an overbuilt behemoth of a knife, and when I flip it, I want you to hear it lock up, and then I want you to hear it drop. It's got a full back spacer. It's a night morning design. On washers, not on bearings. It is D2, but I will tell you, this D2 blade will absolutely go through a car door. Whoops. Trying to get it on this camera, guys. But when you hear that lock up, huge stop pin. Again, full back spacers, titanium, D2 with a tall flat grind that's super slicey, super heavy blade, just overbuilt knife. I mean, this reminds me of something in, you know, one of our Medford type knives or one of our big Midgard size knives. I mean, I want to say it's probably close to a 1/2 inch thick. The blade stock on it's massive. It's even got, I kept it in the box, but you see that hole there? that's one of those little holes that you can go in and you can screw the little additional lockup protection. So if you want to use it to beat holes through car doors and you don't want the frame lock to fail, which it's locked up at about 33%, and I don't think you're going to have any problem with that. But you could put that little extra pin down through to keep that blade from closing if you want to hammer it through car doors. But again, guys, that's the TS346. It is a solid knife, and if I was not under this camera, I could flip it a lot better. It's got fantastic ergos. I can get a full 4-finger grip, nice choke up on the choil, get all types of access to the blade to make cuts. Whoops. But that is the TS346. Guys, so that just in a nutshell are my top TwoSun knives. And that is liable to change at any given moment because I do still hunt and find TwoSuns that are interesting to me. Again, most of the ones that I pick up, I'm happy with. Some of them I pick up, you guys will see in my TwoSun overview video where we kind of go through everything in my collection from TwoSun. I can point out some that, you know, great knives, but they missed the mark here or they missed the mark there. These 5, I would say, are all winners, and I would recommend any one of them to you guys if you're looking for a knife that kind of fits this type of size or utility or what you're going to use it for. Guys, thanks again for stopping by my channel. Anytime you watch a video, come by. I appreciate it more than you know. I really appreciate the fact that we look out for the guy or gal to our left. We look out for the guy or gal to our right. We kind of keep love in our heart. Kindness kind of is what we stand for. Think of Brother Brown, be up. Think of doing something kind for someone, and just think about debate instead of hate. You can always disagree, but just agree to not let it dissolve to hate. I love you all. Peace.